Like boats through the hourglass, these are the songs of our lives. Hello and welcome to episode number 35 of Songs of Our Lives. I am Brad Rose. I am a musician, a composer, a writer, the founder of Foxy, Digitalis, and someone who thinks about music and sound far more than is healthy. Each week, I invite on a guest to talk about the songs and the music that have left their mark and meant a lot to them through their lives. Previous guests include Miriam Gendron, Six Organs of Admittance, Leah Bertucci, Claire Rosset, Rosalie, Monson and Roberts, and so many more. Before I get to this week's guest, I'm going to just ask a favor of you. If you like listening to this podcast, and I know that there's some of you out there that do, it would mean a lot if, well, there's a couple things you could do. One, if you think it's good, you want to keep going and all that, and you have the means, you can support it on Patreon, patreon.com/FoxyDigitalis. For as little as $3 a month, you can pick up a new compilation on the Jewel Garden called Clarities. It's got 39 bands, 40 tracks. Pay what you can. Every dollar goes towards just keeping Foxy Digitalis and all this going. Or if that's, not in your wheelhouse or not in your interest, if you can at least just leave a rating or review on wherever you listen to this, that kind of stuff helps, gets more ears on the show, and, that helps people discover it. So if you could do one of those things for me, it would mean so very much. Okay, this week, my guest is Shane Parish, who I was really excited to get on the show. So he has a new album out called Repetoire. It came out on May 10th on Bill Orcutt's label. Let's just do that. We talked about how to pronounce it at the end of the show, and I still can't remember. So, and it is like Shane arranges music for solo guitar and I can't even get my head around half the stuff that he does. I mean, this album has Aphex Twin on it, Sun Ra, Alice Coltrane, Eric Dolphy. That's like a small, those are the ones I can remember off the top of my head. But it is, God, it's such a good album. And I've listened to it a lot. It is infinitely replayable. But as soon as I got a like promo announcement for this record, I was like, oh my God, like Shane is somebody who I thought would be a good guest on the show anyway. This was perfect opportunity because he is, thinking about songs and bringing them into his world. So why not talk to him about the songs that sort of created that world or have shaped that world? So we had a blast doing this. It was like on a Friday afternoon, I think. I don't know. It was such a good time, and I really hope I can somehow get Shane out to Tulsa to play a show just so we can hang out in person, because I think it'd be fun. So anyway, Repetoire is out now. You really got to check it out. And like I said, we recorded this a couple weeks ago. It was a load of fun. I hope you all enjoy it. My guest today is a guitarist, a composer, and in my mind, one of the absolute kings of arranging music for guitar that I would never imagine arranging for guitar. Please welcome to the show, Shane Parish.
Hey, thank you so much.
So the new record, Repetoire, is out on May 10th. When did you start working on this?
I started working on this realistically probably like 8 or so years ago, but without really knowing that this would be the result,
Yeah.
And then over, lockdown times around 2020, I kind of started putting I think a lot more just solo guitar arrangements online, and just get an idea. I'd be like, oh, it'd be cool to play that song on guitar. And and then I would like make a video and put it on Instagram and YouTube or something, and then just kind of be done with it. But I'd have, but it'd be in a folder somewhere. And then in like September, I think, or maybe August of last year, 2023, I've been working with Bill Orcutt for the last 2.5 years on the guitar quartet stuff. And I put a video up. I can't remember what song it was. It might have been like my second version of like Alice Coltrane's Journey in Satchidananda. And I put it on Twitter, and it got like 20,000 plays or something like that. And Bill texts me out of the blue, and he says, "Hey, if you want to do an album of your solo arrangements, I'll put it out." It's like, it's clearly what the people want. So, so that was kind of the beginning of the process, where it was like, oh, now I have a deadline. I mean, it was an open-ended deadline, but now I have the deadline is when it's done, I'll put it out. And so,
yeah.
So that's kind of when him and I started bouncing ideas on it, and he was pretty involved in the, in the song selection process, and as well as like the track order and stuff. And yeah. Mm-hmm.
How many of? So I don't remember how many tracks are on the record. There's like what, 16, 14?
14 on the record, yeah.
How many did you start with? Like that you whittled this down from?
I think I sent Bill like 24 demos, so 24 tunes.
Okay.
That I have like more in like, just like in folders and just loose paper and God knows where in my studio. But when it was like, he's like, send me recordings and I'll listen to them and decide like which ones I like, And I love that process, because I don't like, there's certain decisions it's great to outsource, and especially when you trust someone's aesthetic, so
right.
It's like Bill and my wife Courtney are just, that's all my decision makers. But like so I basically spent like a few weeks initially, like first of all getting them ready to hand, because like I was saying earlier, if I record a video for Instagram, it's like what I do, like 20 takes, got a good take, and I didn't look back. So then it's rusty. I felt like I'm performing this regularly. So, so I had to like, gain facility with the songs again, and then make the demos over. I did that over like a 3-week or like a 1-month period. And that was pretty intense. And then we whittled it down to the 14 songs. And then I just zeroed in, and that's all I worked on from September to January. And I'm still working on it because now I'm like, I'm going to perform it, and I'm at live, and so it's like, getting it from memory, having these songs that have like some really hard parts, some of them, most of them, have them like kind of ready to hand. Can I just pull it out of my pocket and play it? It's like, I want to like I'm not a classical guitar concert guitarist, but it's like, can I have this be a new like base level, for performing arranged pieces without a lot of improv, I can improv whole records. I've improvised, but this is like, the only improvisation is with timbre and like, like phrasing and interpretation, so like there's some moments where I could stretch them out, but it's like very like through composed, and then having that feel beautiful every time. And I don't know. Yeah. So that's why the title Repertoire is almost like, accurate, but almost tongue in cheek, like,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. What were some of, I'm sure all of these were challenging in their own way, but what were some of the ones, were there any that were particularly challenging to arrange for guitar?
Like, let's see. Hard, in terms of like hard to play, I would say, April 14th by Aphex Twin has, I really got to stay sharp on that, especially the last section of that tune, and then what I would call like the C section of that song. There's just some like rhythmic displacements. I just need to keep that in my routine if I'm going to be like just abracadabra. Here's this this is easy, you know,
Right.
um, um, and then let's see, like I kicked around the Sun Ra song, the closer on the record, for a long time, and it went through. That one might have gone through the most changes, uh, to where how it ended up on the album. Um, and gosh, the John Cage piece is monstrous. And you know, prepared piano piece, Totem Ancestor. Like, there's a section in the middle where it has this like melody, like 5/6 phrase, and it's just, I don't know, just holding that together is always pretty beastly. I'm trying to think of like in terms of like actual arrangement, like, you know, the Kraftwerk song, Europe Endless, was originally, I did it with a loop pedal, an electric guitar, and just as like a memorial for Florian Schneider when he passed in 2020, and I just kind of put it on my YouTube channel. And Bill, when we were going over you know, what we had, and he was like, "Could you do this? Could you do that? Could you do a metal song? Could you do?" Which we didn't end up doing for this record, but I started thinking like, you know, Flight of Icarus by Iron Maiden or something like that. I just, you know, it's
Yeah.
on the back burner, you know. But he was like, can you make the Kraftwerk song that you know, can you do that for acoustic guitar, you know? And that, I think, ended up being the longest song on the record. The Like over 4 minutes, and could have been longer because I like cut it off right before the keyboard solo, and I was like still going. I'm like, am I gonna play this like nine and a half minute like
Right.
song? You know, like, I think we get the point.
Yeah.
But I was like, I don't know. But that was interesting, just a challenge with tuning, because the song changes keys so drastically a few times, but they all present their special moments of difficulty. I'm trying to think if there's any of them that are easy. Like, um,
Are
I
there
guess
any
it's
that
relative.
are there any that are like really fun to play, like that are the most fun to play?
Yeah, I mean, I love playing like uh, Cohesion, you know, by Minutemen. D Boon is really a
Yeah.
fun one to play. I really like playing the Beefheart tune, One Red Rose, that I mean, which is also like a real challenging. That's still like the memory threshold on that to remember all. I still like need a cheat sheet. Like, I almost have the whole record like totally memorized, but that one's just like, it's just endlessly unfolding. You know, it doesn't. It's not like
Right.
there's no repetition, and it just goes. You know, it's one idea to the next. And but I think that one's really fun because to play, try to play it as like lovingly and tenderly as possible, because it's such it could be such a jagged tune in a way, but at the same time, really like this beautiful C major song. But like, and I did some gigs last weekend in Asheville where I played my like seasonal classical gig that I sometimes still do when I lived in Asheville at the Biltmore Estate. And so I played 2 days in the Garden where I played like 5 sets per day, like 30 minutes on, 30 minutes off. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go and do my classical thing, because I usually play like some like Spanish Baroque music or whatever. And all I did was like rehearse this music like every set. I just played the album like for every set.
Nice.
And it was really all these like senior citizens in there like looking at flowers, and then like everybody claps at the end of the Beefheart tune, you know, like it was just like, and I was like, success, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm just like, you know, just kind of trying to just make it sound like Segovia or something if I can. But I like that one. I like the
Yeah.
Ornette tune a lot too, the Lonely Woman. It's really nice.
Yeah. That's awesome. I've listened to the record a ton already, so it's
Oh, cool. Thank you so
I
much.
love it. Yeah, it's so good. Well, okay, we're gonna get into the reason we're here. I mean, the reason we're here, but also we're gonna talk about some songs. And as ever, the first question that I always ask is, "What is the first song that you remember?"
Do I have to answer it now?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh.
Do you need to pull up your list?
No, yeah, I know, right? I think maybe. I know that I said "Reach Out, I'll Be There" by the Four Tops is what I was. Was
Yeah.
how I answered that one, and I realized it was a toss up between that and like Neil Diamond's "Coming to America," but
Oh
but
man.
the Four Tops was like the first like concert I remember going to.
Oh
And,
wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And like as a kid, it was like at the beach,
Yeah.
and I feel like it was like the 4th of July or something. I might be like conflating memories now, but that's that's how I picture it, and
That's
and
awesome.
just
Hey.
yeah, that song was jam, and
Yeah, I mean that's like an all-time great song. And
yeah,
Levi Stubbs'
just
vocals. Oh, oof, I get chills.
incredible. Yeah, and just the way that flute blends on the mix, like
Yeah.
is really is I don't know. It has like this. I don't know. It's like a like Duke Ellington kind of just like a cross of like multiple voices like arranged in it so
Right.
that it like forms like a new instrument or something. It just has a really cool um timbre overall. And then of course like later on I realized that James Jamerson's playing the bass on it, and it's like and it's and like and that's just I mean he's the best. Uh the song's basically like it's like James Jamerson and like vocals and strings or something.
Yeah. Right. Was there a lot of like growing up? Was there a lot of music playing like in the house, and was it like around and everything?
No, not really. Well, there was music, but it wasn't. It was like kind of what was on the radio. It was like so, and I feel like there was a lot of. I wasn't exposed to it as an art form or whatever. I didn't have like musicians in the family, so it would be like Michael Bolton and like you know like what's his name if you want my body and you think I'm sexy, come on, baby.
It's like on the tip of my tongue.
Rod Stewart.
Rod Stewart. That's it. Yeah.
Like that kind of vibe.
Four Tops is like a first concert. That's pretty awesome. I think my first concert was Three Dog Night at the the state fair in Tulsa. When my mom loved Three Dog Night, and so I think I was like 5. I don't remember anything about it other than they were called Three Dog Night, and then I went to it. I mean, I don't know who Three Dog Night is.
That's cool. Yeah, I think the Four Tops thing was like it was like just like happenstance. It was like it was like who was playing at the but I remember having a really like just kind of just feeling pretty high after that as a kid, like I don't know, going out to Denny's or something afterwards, and and just being just like just feeling like elated by that show. I am gonna pull up my list now, by the way.
I understand. I can't. I've asked these questions. This is about I don't know, almost the 40th one of these I've recorded, and I still don't know all the questions in order by heart. So,
I figured I also figured if I winged it, which I like to do, I would have all new answers, and that might be.
Well, it could be interesting, and then I might not know some. Who knows? It all works out in the end. Although I think on yours there was not anything I hadn't heard. Okay. Next question is, well, do you consider yourself a crier? You cry a lot?
Do I cry a lot? You know what? I cry sometimes, but I wish I cried more.
Oh, no, that's a good answer. I feel that. Yeah, I feel that. I relate to that.
Do you want to hear about my most recent, like, really serious cry?
Yeah.
Would that be? I'm gonna blow the name of this. It was my wife sent this to me. and it was because uh, this therapist who is famous for making like rooms full of men cry. Basically, this guy, I forget his name. This guy from Texas. I should really look this up, but he was on Oprah in like the early '90s, and so the clip of him on Oprah, and he just has you like close your eyes and go back to like your child self, and takes you through this whole thing where you like rescue your child self, and you like see the house you grew up in and like your family and whatever, and everyone's on the porch as you like wave goodbye and like and go down the street and like turn the corner, and it's this visualization. And like I listened to this, like I was like in the bathtub with my eyes closed listening to this. I was going through a lot of like just family history stuff, and it was like the most intense cry I've had maybe in my adult life, certainly in the last like 15 years, where it was like I just went through the visualization like so. And he like kind of has a preacher kind of, he's like, you got to turn that corner. You're going down. You see the wave goodbye. You're coming to this place, where you're like, you're basically rescuing your inner child. And
Right.
it was so intense. I didn't watch it too, and then I watched it a second time to just see the audience's reaction, and everyone in the audience is just like crying. And that was like a month ago. That was
man.
wild.
Yeah,
I need to look that up, what that is. But
yeah, you'll have to. Well, I'm like, do I want you to send me the link? Yeah, no, but I relate to that. I feel like it's like I do cry, but I feel like I wish I cried. I really like that. So, well, what's a song that will make you cry?
Yeah,
or at least
so
make you feel that way?
So the one I gave you was The Lonesome Death of Hattie Carroll by Bob Dylan, which I just have this really distinct memory of being like 15 or 16, and I was getting into Dylan and just all music basically, and I was just rapidly consuming music, right? And so I was listening to that record in our trailer park, like on the porch, like by myself, like smoking weed, and it's like, and I never heard the times there are changing, and I listened to that song, and just it was like this perfectly timed thing where at the very end when he says, handed down firmly for penalty and repentance, William Zanzinger, a 6-month sentence, who killed this black woman for no reason at all, and the judge, like just kind of gives him a little slap on the wrist or whatever,
Yeah.
and then he says, you who philosophize disgrace and criticize all fears, bury the rag deep in your face. Now is the time for your tears. And the whole song he's saying, now is not the time for your tears. And at the end he says, now is the time for your tears. And I just remember just like immediately like crying, like it was like so effective and timed like so perfectly. And I just it was a profound moment of listening.
Yeah, it's like it's like this beautiful and brutal song. Whenever I was prepping for this, I didn't realize this. Apparently the sentence for William Zanzinger was like handed down on the same day that Martin Luther King Jr. delivered "I Have a Dream." I didn't realize that. Like that's
wow.
It's like, well, fuck.
That's intense. Boy, I just got a chill. Wow. That's great. I think like as far as like structurally like timing when the tears flowed in that song, and this like when I listened to it that first time I heard it, I was thinking like later on in life I saw that movie Life is Beautiful,
Roberto Benigni.
Yeah. And I remember watching that kind of like, I don't know, by myself or something, like in the morning in bed in my 20s. I don't know, like I didn't have to work that day or something. And like, but I remember like at the end of that movie too, when like the tanks rolled in, it was like it was like one of those things where like literally when the credits rolled, like the moment the tanks rolled in, I just like started crying, like and it was like, and everything led up to that moment, and it felt like it was like, but it was like the moment as soon as the credits and the music started, I was like, oh, and that's what kind of. Just, I mean, different thing, but just structurally, I think it was like, I was susceptible to this like perfectly like fashion nugget of like, we're gonna make you cry like right at this
Right
moment
at the end. Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, it's like everything is built, kind of building to that moment, and then it's just like, okay, now we're gonna like pull the last little thing out, and it's just damn's gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, what's a song that puts you in a better mood?
There are lots of them. I put on the list, I put My Baby Just Cares for Me by Nina Simone, which is just gorgeous. And
Yeah.
but really just that the piano playing, like as soon as it starts, it feels really bright, you know. And
Yeah. I feel like it's a song that it feels good. Like, I don't know. I don't know that I can explain why, but as soon as it starts, there's like something that just comes over you. It's like, okay, this feels good. Like, this feels better.
yeah. You know, I just thought of another one too, which is more silly, but like Popcorn. You know the song Popcorn?
Oh, yeah.
That puts me in a good mood.
Yeah, that's so silly. How could you not?
Yeah.
That's pretty, yeah.
The snare drum on that's smoking too. Yeah. It's like, I had it on the car the other day. My daughter was like, "Why do you like this song?" It's like, it's fun.
I feel like is that a common experience for you? I don't know how old your daughter is. My daughter's 10, and I get a lot of, "Why do you like this?"
Yeah, that's happening more and more. It's so she's 9, and but that's like, see, it's like a knee jerk thing. So like you know, because you know you're the parent, and so the other day yesterday we were in the house and I was cooking some, and my daughter's doing some homework, and I finally was like, okay, all right, everybody, okay, I'll listen to this like Cindy Lee album, okay, you know, I'm gonna check it out. I'm just so burned by like what Arcade Fire, you know, back in like 2005, that anytime anything's that exciting, I'm just like, I went out, you know, like I went out and bought that, and I was like, what? Okay, but anyway, I actually really do like.
Yeah, I had about the same experience about a week ago. So because I was like, okay, calm down. But yeah, it's pretty fun.
yeah, it's really great. But so I put it on, and my daughter's like, "What is this? This is blah blah blah." And I was trying to explain, well, this is actually new, and you know, and this is and people are like it, and this is like a trans person, and you know, and this is like and and then of course, like as it goes on, my daughter's like, "I really like this," and I was like, "Yeah, like you know,"
Yeah.
But it was just by me pushing play, it's already like, "What is this?" You know?
Oh yeah, I have that. Yeah, we have that happen all the time where, like, we'll be in the car. I mean, my daughter wants to be the DJ most of the time, but if I put something on, and she'll immediately just act like, ugh. And then I'll look back, and she's bop along. Like, see, come on.
Totally. Yeah, my daughter's like a huge like Belle and Sebastian fan, you know, and I was like, "You're only a Belle and Sebastian fan because I was like, put on Belle and Sebastian, you know, just don't forget that, you know, like that."
Yeah, right.
Like I like some good stuff, but yeah, I get it though, you know.
Yeah, I mean, at the same time, it's like, you know, our kids are supposed to not like the things we like. That some, you know, there's
exactly.
And I'm supposed to listen to the stuff she likes and be like, oh, yeah. I try not to be, but that's how it goes sometimes.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, next one is everybody's favorite question, and that is, what is objectively best song of all time?
There's probably like some kind of calculus around this or something, you know, like that would. Is there a scientific answer? Have you ever looked that up?
No, I think somebody, I'm trying to remember if somebody like just did it by the numbers, like the most played thing. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there is some way to do it. I just love seeing how people approach it. I'm more interested in that than I am the answer.
Yeah, totally. Well, my answer was "A Love Supreme" by John Coltrane. You know,
can't really argue with that.
You can't really argue with that. and I mean, that's just incredible. It's a long song, but it's the best song. And I'm actually working on a solo guitar arrangement of that as well.
Oh,
Um,
wow.
but I kind of, yeah, that's pretty far along. I just haven't been practicing it because I've been getting the new record
Right.
under my fingers, and but I'm excited to return to it because I think it'll be fun to tackle it.
Yeah.
Uh,
I mean, that'll be epic.
yeah, yeah, it's yeah, it's gonna be cool. I'm happy with the arrangement. It's just a matter of living with it for a while, and yeah, but solo acoustic also. Yeah,
How is it? Like, how long is it? Like, is it like the whole? Or-
yeah, it's all the movements. It's just like it'll be. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't know if
roughly.
it'll be. Yeah. It would probably clock around 25, 30 minutes, I guess. But yeah, it's like, well, figuring out the arrangement, and then like I already like kind of arranged like the main parts of it. I just need to but then when I think about it, there's things I want to do. Like I think I'd like to play like some of the bass intro stuff, like or solo bass stuff could sound really good with like power chords and like double stops and stuff, and just try to like kind of like get some of the essence of that, and then like I'm obviously like, I mean, I'm transcribed a good bit of it, but I'm not gonna be able to play like note for note like all the lines with
Right.
with counter with counterpoint and stuff, but and because it is going to be like counterpoint with bass and melody and chords, so I started to think about how I'm gonna, to get a lot of that, the essence of a lot of that, like under my fingers and in my ears, but then how to like kind of improvise around that. And I think a lot of the melody could like turn into arpeggios and like chord shapes and kind of like,
Yeah.
and be like, uh, explored the way like McCoy does, and Coltrane, but on the guitar in like a finger style fashion. Uh, so it's really just working. It's a pool of notes, and like working with pools of notes, and working with those pools of notes. So like, like I said, I need to live with it more. But I did like a first round draft of it, and then I have mostly been doing other things. But then when I think about it, I'm basically verbalizing to you my thought process of like, okay, this is what I actually need to spend time doing when I go in for my next pass at like
Yeah.
developing it more. Yeah.
That's cool, man. It's
This could become a we can get real nerdy if we want
oh,
on it. How, yeah, but
yeah. Well, we might be here for a while.
yeah.
That's cool though. That's exciting. I mean, yeah, I'm excited to see how that turns out here. Not see. I guess see too, because transcribe. But yeah, you can't argue with Love Supreme. That's and why would you want to?
What do you answer that? How do you answer that question?
What was my answer? So I did an episode of this for my Patreon where my friend Nina Dante interviewed me and I answered the question. I can't even remember what I answered. I don't know. Like it's my inclination is to pick like Rainbow and Curved Air by Terry Riley, but I don't know if that's like the greatest song or if it's my favorite song. Like, what's the difference? But I think
cool.
that's a perfect piece of music.
Yeah.
So like I mean, Love Supreme would be up there. I think there's probably some Alice Coltrane stuff.
Yeah.
There is no right answer. I actually recorded this with Miriam Gendron yesterday, and she picked Shenandoah, which her and I have had conversations about how we think that's like the most beautiful melody ever written. And I was jokingly saying yesterday, I was like, "Oh, somebody picked the right answer, so now we're done."
Yeah. That's cool. That's
So
that's a really good answer.
Yeah. So, but I want to say that someone picked Love Supreme once. I want to say maybe Ilyas Ahmed did, or Robert Akiabrilo. Well, I don't know. There was some. I've talked about it on here before, but like I said, I've recorded 40 tonight. It's all a blur at this point.
Yeah. That's cool.
But
I like that Shenandoah answer. That's a good one. That's like a
yeah,
what do you, like a man. Like a platonic form or something. It's just like a of melodic contour, and shape, and like it's universally like malleable in this way, and resonant.
Yeah. So there's a lot of good answers. There's a lot, and the Love Supreme is one of them. So there you go.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Okay, well, changing gears, what's a song that you used to love, but now, like you heard it recently, or you think about it now, and you're just like, oh, no, thank you.
Yeah. This is fun. Okay, so I said "Enter Sandman" by Metallica.
Yeah.
Because I was like, this one's like, I gotta imagine, like, let's see, I was like 12 or 13 or something when that came out. I guess I'm thinking, yeah, because it was in middle school, and it's just, now I lay me down to sleep. It's just like I was like, this thing appeal to my like horror, like like just macabre instincts of just sounded so tough. But then when I actually listen to it now, I'm like, God, this is so like the riffs themselves, they're so wonky and like just unmusical, and like it's just but and I'm punching up here, so it's like it's just really like, I mean, it's like it's definitely like just really especially once you get out of the main riff. I remember like I taught that to a kid once, and I was just like, wow, that's what they're playing, man. This is like, I don't know. It just felt very wonky to me. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, when I was like a teenager, preteen, because I must have been 12 or something when this came out, and it felt so badass. And then like the video with the like semi truck chasing, like, oh yeah, this is fucking cool. And now it's just, now you listen to it, it's like, oh, this is it didn't feel that tough.
But on the contrary, like I heard "Unforgiven" came on the radio like 6 months ago or something. I was like, dude, this is amazing. This is like, it's like Ennio Morricone pastiche or whatever, but it's like, it's like, I mean, it was like overplayed in the 90s. I remember being like, oh, not this song again. But then when it came on like recently, I was like, I really listened to the whole thing. I was like, wow, that is something. That is a good song. So I am a Metallica fan, I mean, I'm definitely like of the 80s Metallica, but that song on the same record is really strong. So whatever.
That's a good point.
But
I think I first heard finger tapping on One. It's like my first memory of, and it was like a very formative moment of like, oh man, I still think that I'm obsessed with like synth arpeggios because I was obsessed with finger tapping when I was like 10. It's like a direct line.
Totally. Yeah. That's awesome.
No, but yeah, Enter Sandman. Okay, well, what is the song that most people, some people, whoever these people are, people hate it, you don't care, you love it anyway?
So for this one, I went with "My Way" by Frank Sinatra. Sung by others as well. And I imagine a lot of people. Yeah, what's that? Sid Vicious. Yeah. I just think the song is so funny, and I mean, I'll sing every word, and I think it's just, I don't know if most people hate it. I think it's probably one of those songs that's like comes across like it's supposed to, as like just incredibly egotistical and just and just like just shamelessly self-aggrandizing, and but somehow I think it's really funny. And even I remember when like Trump got elected the first time, not this next time when he's going to get elected, but the
Right,
first time he
yeah.
got elected.
Yeah.
But that was like the song him and like Melania danced to. I've ever seen that on TV. It was like, and he's like kind of like mouthing the words, and I'm like,
Uh-huh.
that didn't ruin the song for. It still didn't, you know. It's like, I was like, but it like made perfect sense, but it was still like, it was just like, I don't know, you know. I still think it's like a good song. Not without like a tongue in cheek aspect to it, but kind of.
Sure. Yeah, no, I have like, this reminds me of my grandma, because she would put Sinatra on and just like be walking around her kitchen, like making us cookies or something, belting it out. And I remember her belting out this song when I was like a little kid, and I still love that idea. Like, and she, you know, and my grandma was, she was like 97 when she died, and like we used to always joke when she was in her 90s, like she had way more of a cool, active social life than I ever had. And like
Oh wow.
she had diabetes and she lost a couple fingers, and her biggest concern was that she could still go to her 11 different bridge clubs. It's like, and I was like, that's, you know what? Hell yeah. Like that's why when I'm 97 or 95, whatever it was. Like,
Yeah.
and so
Wow.
I always feel like, yeah, this song very much embodied her. She's like, fuck it, I don't care if I losing fingers, losing toes. I'm still going to be the life of the party. I don't care.
That's awesome. Yeah. It kind of it reminds me of I had this experience as a when I was a teenager. I grew up going to see Dr. Lonnie Smith, the organist, jazz organist, play. Like he would play concerts in Fort Lauderdale where I lived all the time, or concerts, you know, just like at the jazz club. And I would start going out to see him play, and I became friends with the drummer, Danny Richmond. It's not Danny Richmond. It's Danny Berger. Danny Richmond is Charles Mingus' drummer. It's Danny Berger. But anyway, don't want to get anyone excited. But anyway, I remember like I ended up like hanging out with this, you know, old kind of jazz dude who like sometimes afterwards, and he had that kind of Sinatra vibe, you know, just like a very like a bravado and like, but like funny and just kind of like, and I remember I played him a tape of some music I was working on, and I remember like, you know, showing it to him, and then I remember like apologizing for it, being like, I know it's not really that good, and blah 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 blah. And he goes, hey, don't ever apologize for your music. You know, he's like, if anyone ever gives you a compliment or gives me a compliment, if anyone gives me a compliment, you know what I say? That's right. I kick ass. You know, I kick ass. And it's like, and he could totally get away with saying that. And you can get away with saying that at a certain point. When you're in your 20s and 30s, you can't really go around saying that. People will be they get all upset, you know, like, cause it's like they're, you know, everyone, the knives are out. But when you're old, you can say things like that, and it's kind of like funny. You know, it's like, but it kind of has that same sentiment as the My Way Frank Sinatra thing, where it's kind of like it's like a bit. It's a bit. It's not really like you're not, you know, you're actually like a decent person or whatever, but it's just kind of like, but you like put on this thing, you know, this My Way thing,
right?
That's
I totally agree. No, that's why. Yeah, and the reason, you know, Trump can't run it is because he doesn't get that it's a bit.
Right, exactly. Yeah, that's perfect. Yes, that's good. Thank you for tying that up. Yes, it's like he doesn't get that it's a bit. That's right. Yeah. He's like, no, dude, you're missing. I mean, I don't know that Sinatra got it as a bit either, but it's kind of like self parody at that point or something. It's like you just kind of like you're like, you are a bit, man. Like, yeah.
I think, yeah, that's perfect. I love that. Okay, totally different speed here. What's the most romantic song? And are you a romantic? Do you consider yourself a romantic?
Definitely. Yeah. I should have gone with like you know, We Fell in Love in a Hopeless Place or something like that. But
that's a good one.
By Rihanna, which I really like. But it's kind of like it's a little upbeat for I mean, still romantic though. But I came up with, the nearness of you, the by Helge Carmichael, the Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong's recording of that. It's
Oh man,
really
it's
sweet.
such a
it
is.
That's a really sweet song.
Yeah, and isn't it
Yeah.
like the Oscar Peterson trio playing? Like, isn't that the band on that? Am I wrong? I don't know. I feel like I remember reading this.
That's a thing I should know the answer to.
I think it is. I think I'm going to act like it. We're going to say it is, and if I'm wrong,
Let's say it is.
But,
Yeah.
But
I'm gonna, totally. Yeah.
But yeah, I feel like that song like so emits that just like this sort of like the sweetness of like love and infatuation. It's so warm and
yeah. It's not the pale moon that excites me. Those
yeah, which is a
great one. Excites me. Yeah, it's So that's a good romantic song. That makes me want to fall in love all over again. With my wife. That is,
Right. Yeah. No, I feel that. Don't want to get in trouble here. That'll get.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we just talked about a great lyric, but what are your favorite lyrics? And then, do you pay attention to lyrics? Like, are lyrics a thing you pay a lot of attention to, or is it just depend?
Gosh, that's a good question. A lot of the time, lyrics, not anymore as much as I used to.
Yeah.
I think, if that like I as I became more of a just musician as my entire life and profession and stuff like that. I think I'm more. I get more. But I remember being younger and being like, lyrics were like utmost of importance. So the bands that I was into, if they didn't have good lyrics that were actually saying something, then I just didn't like them. So example would be like, I was a really big Pink Floyd fan because I think that the lyrics that Roger Waters writes are like really like powerful and political and like real. And then I'm not a Van Halen fan, right? Because I thought the lyrics are just totally stupid and nihilistic, or or like Fish or something like that, where it's just like the lyrics themselves. But that would be like a criteria by which I would judge things for sure, but as we get older, we start to like maybe ease hopefully our restrictions on like what we allow, what we allow in, and what those criteria are. So yeah, I think like, but I still value lyrics that are meaningful. Yeah, because I don't know. I just but the
I know what you mean.
So yeah.
So what are your favorite lyrics?
Yeah, my favorite lyrics. Okay. I mean, it's a big toss up, but I went with Suggestion by Fugazi. Yeah, which I thought, I'm just going with like a moment in time here, because I could have been, like the Stranger song by Leonard Cohen, or there's, I mean, it's Road by Nick Drake or something, like it's like a concise nugget, or I don't know. There's
a million choices.
but hearing something like Suggestion when it, not long after it came out, I mean, I saw Fugazi was one of my early shows that I went to on my own. It was like my second concert actually as a teenager going to shows solo. I went to Megadeth, and then I went to Fugazi, and that was like in like 92 or something, 93, and like, but I remember just the lyrics were just like, I was like, well, this is like strongly like pointing some shit out, this is, about what it means to like be a body and be like susceptible to messaging, and and it's a very strong feminist song,
right? I mean, I remember like hearing this when I was, I don't know, 12, 13, so I don't know, I can't remember when. This came out like 93 probably, so 13, 14, like is just some like dumb kid in Oklahoma who was getting into punk rock, and it was, that like it kind of blew my mind and like really cracked my head open in a way of like, you really need to like think about this and be aware of this. And I mean, I was a big Nirvana kid. Like when Nevermind came out, I was in 6th grade, so it was like perfect timing. And
Yeah.
that's like Kurt Cobain talking about feminism was what made me like learn about feminism and and then hearing something like this, just it was another part of that. And yeah, and I fucking love Fugazi. Like Sarah Hennings and I had a conversation on this about how they're like maybe the greatest band of all time.
Nice. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. They're definitely like favorite rock band for sure.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, cool, awesome. So we're like the same age. It sounds like. How old are you?
Yeah. I will be 45 in about a month.
Okay. Yeah. So I turned 46 in January, but yeah, because I was like I think 6th grade when Nirvana came out with Nevermind, that is. But yeah.
Yeah. So there you go. That makes sense. Some of these answers, it's like, yeah, I can relate exactly to that because I came out around when I got the questions out of order here a little bit, and that's on me. But what's a song that changed your perspective on an artist, either for better or for worse? Most people.
I'm so glad you came back to this. I'm glad you came back to this because I was going to let it flow. I was like, oh, we skipped it because but I was like, I really wanted to talk about this one, which was Paranoid Android by Radiohead.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that was probably, that's probably a generational like answer because you're like, if it changed your perspective on an artist, you're like, you had like Creep, then maybe some like low lying, I think, tunes that this didn't hit my radar between Creep and Paranoid Android. I know that you had like the Bends came out, but I kind of I just didn't. So I went from like Creep to Paranoid Android, and I thought it was like they were like the saviors of music to me at that point in like popular culture. Like I was like, holy shit, this is insane. Yeah. I can't believe it was the video. I was like, I can't believe
yes
that I can't believe what I just saw and what I just heard. And it was I heard like it was like a 7-minute like essentially like prog rock epic, that's just and just that one really, and then obviously they went on to further greatness, but that was a big change there, and that was actually the first conversation I ever had with my wife when I met her.
Oh wow!
What was about that song because she hadn't really like kind of dug into Radiohead at all, and I spoke like as I'm speaking to you, just passionately about this video and this song, and she was like, I want to marry that guy, because it was just like, but it was like that was the like our first conversation was about that.
That's amazing.
I was like, you got to check it out.
That's really fun. I think one of my earliest conversations with my wife, like my wife's probably a bigger Radiohead fan than I am. But we had like this total nerd out conversation about Radiohead, and very early on, and now 21 years later, here we are. So,
yeah,
no, I remember seeing the video for this, just was like you said, it's like, holy shit, what just happened?
Yeah,
and I never heard anything like it at that point that I can remember, and I don't listen to a ton of Radiohead. Like I still like every time. I don't know. I mean, it's been a while since I had their, and that last record was I really liked it more than some of the ones before, I think. But they're great.
that song, and then like it's funny because like music is such a wormhole. So you're like, for example, this morning. If I might digress for one moment, like I have a student who I feel like lives in Arizona. This guy, I teach people online, and he wanted to work on a solo guitar arrangement of "The Gnome" by Pink Floyd from Piper at the Gates of Dawn. which I'm familiar with. I was a big Floyd fan, but it was such it's the Syd Barrett tune, super weird song, and I spent most of the lesson just transcribing it and then getting into it, and I was like, and it gave me this whole different perspective, because I never analyzed it, but it's like sitting there and waiting, and I think with something like with Paranoid Android, where it was like kind of sitting there and waiting for like somebody wants to learn it. I'm going to now like deconstruct it, because a lot of what I do is like deconstruction of music with people that they like, and then be like, well, here's what it's made out of, and maybe here's how to execute it. But a lot of it's like, here's like what's like why we like it. Like, how can I codify this a little bit and internalize some of it for my own creativity? But this song, Paranoid Android, is insane, dude. Like, it's like in terms of in terms of form, in terms of intricacy of the guitar parts, like it's got like a 5-bar phrase in the verse, and then it's just like really like syncopated, like broken 16th note, like finger picking stuff, and like it's just got and then it's like kind of has this long form, sweet quality to the structure of it. I bring this up though because the guitar solo is the wonkiest, like double stop, just like Leonard Skinner, like, but like not, but like floppier, like just like he's like, and to me that it's like, and I love that kind of thing, because it's like this, it's almost a joke in that song. You know what I mean? It's not a joke because it's badass. But it's like, a joke in a sense of having a musical sense of humor, where you have like, this song could not be more intricate in its arrangement, and then the solo is just like wrong, and like three notes, and it's just like super skronk, and so things like that, like coming back to later with this more analytical mindset, and then studying the things that we loved, to me is like something I really enjoy doing. I feel, oh wow, I appreciate it. I like it even more now, like than or I found this new thing I like about it.
That's awesome. No, that's great. You must be a real fun guitar teacher.
Oh, thank you. We have a good time. Here's my gnome transcription. It's sitting right here, by the way, from I don't know if anyone can see this, but I just put on this melody. This guy watched me for 45 minutes go like, one day, like finding the notes. But it was just like, and I told him, like, I was not expecting to do this today. Man, this is too much fun, so.
That's awesome. Oh, man. Do you still listen to Radiohead much?
I'll throw them on, man. I'll throw them on. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like, not all the time, but I would say that a couple times a year, I'll listen to like, I like Hail to the Thief or OK Computer. Once in a while, like, what do you call that one? Kid A. Yeah. Sometimes I do. They're not like, they'll like, I'll be like, I'm gonna throw this on, Yeah.
No, I feel that. Yeah. One of the best live shows I ever saw was I saw them in like 2001 at the Gorge in Washington. I think it was either like the Kid A tour. I think it was before Amnesia came out. So God, it was unbelievable. Like, especially in that setting. So, and I just don't like really big concerts like that, but that was killer.
Yeah. I saw them on that tour as well. It sounds like a similar situation. I saw them at Stone Mountain Amphitheater in Georgia, 2001. So the same tour, but it was like this outdoor, like kind of beautiful place. And
yeah.
That was an interesting time. That was like 1 month before 9/11 happened, and I just moved to Asheville, and it was kind of like, I don't know, kind of a definitely like
lifetime ago.
Marked a moment. Yeah.
So in the next section, you're supposed to pick two. You actually answered all of them, so I'm just going to pick two of them at random.
Okay.
Not at random. I mean, I picked the two songs I want to talk about. What is the song that you have or you can listen to the most?
Yeah, I said Golden Brown by the Stranglers, right?
Yeah.
That's
such a weird and
song.
great song. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, stuff like a harpsichord on it.
It's got a harpsichord. It's got like odd time signature. It's got, but it's got just like a beautiful melody,
Oh my
and
God, yeah.
and like and a beautiful like kind of guitar solo with beautiful backing vocals and harmonies, and I don't know. It's just I love that song.
It's great
And
song.
yeah, I think it's about heroin though, which kind of always kind of weird, like kind of is kind of when I found that out. I mean, of course, what the hell is it about, you know? But that it's like, but yeah,
I
kind of puts
found
it like yeah,
I found a quote where he said he talked about he said it's about heroin and also about a girl, both provided me with pleasurable times.
okay,
It's like, that doesn't help.
but in the absence of all that, right?
Yeah.
It's like it's two words together, and then the verses themselves just conjure like a world, you know, like and the sound of it and the production of it, it's just and then and really it's nothing. It's the only song they have like that, right?
Yeah,
they're kind of like
right.
a more like kind of like academic pop or punk band or something, you know, like or
Yeah, it's like, where did this come from? Like, and
yeah.
why didn't you try to do more? I mean, maybe it was this moment of magic. If they tried to do more, maybe they did try to do more. It just wasn't any good.
Also, best use of harpsichord in I think ever.
Yeah,
with like Tori Amos's
definitely post like 19th century.
yeah. Tori Amos' Blood Roses is like right behind.
Oh
with,
yeah,
with the harpsichord use in a theatrical pop song.
Yeah, this is one I'd love to hear you like arrange for solo guitar each.
The Golden Brown.
Yeah,
that'd be cool. Certainly thought about it.
not that you know, not like you don't have enough on your plate.
I want to arrange it all. I mean, I don't know. It's all just out of love. If I love it, I'm like I always am thinking about like, oh, would that be cool? You know,
yeah.
Sometimes things don't work, you know. But then I'm
Right.
kind of just I don't know, try to figure out like what's gonna hit or feel good to play.
Okay, the other one is what, and this is because your answer is literally the song I was thinking of when I came up with the question. What cover song is better than the original?
Oh yeah, All Along the Watchtower. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, it's like the answer.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, there's I mean, it's almost it's like a cliche or something. It's like it's like it's total truism. Yeah.
Well, it's one of those things too where it's like I've mostly forgot that actually is a Bob Dylan song because it's so Hendrix's version is the version.
Totally. The Hendrix's version is the version. You know, though, what's funny about that is I gotta pull this up because I want to anecdotally tell you. Do you know that Dylan? What is his book called? What is it? Hold on a second. So Dylan, like, well, that's on Positively 4th Street or something. Positively.
Oh yeah.
Positively 4th Street. So, yeah, that song. To Dylan, his favorite cover though was someone doing Positively 4th Street. I'm trying to remember whose version it was.
Really?
He didn't. Yeah, like he says in his autobiography that sorry, I'm not finding it on the internet, but let's see who covered that song because it's kind of funny that he didn't say All Along the Watchtower.
Yeah, I was reading something where he talked about that after Hendrix died, that he kind of changed how he performs it so that, and he feels like it's a tribute to him when he sings it. just kind of funny.
Totally.
No.
Yeah, absolutely. No. Yeah, I heard that as well. And I seen Dylan perform that when I saw him in like early 90s. He did like a kick-ass version that was reminiscent of Hendrix. But and then I just saw him actually. He came to Athens like a month ago, and I went to that show by myself and watched him play 12-bar blues versions of all the songs off his latest album, and like didn't really. It was fine. It was good. I actually really enjoyed it. I mean, it was just. I mean, but when I saw him, like I did see him play a really good version of All Along the Watchtower way back when. Damn. All right. Well, anyway, but yeah.
That's interesting. I'm curious if you find out which version of Positively Forestry was. Let me know.
Okay.
God, there's a lot of. I'm like looking at just a list of covers, and there is a ton. Johnny Rivers, the Birds.
That's the one. That's the one, though, isn't it? I think it's Johnny Rivers. That's the one.
That makes sense.
I'm pretty sure.
X apparently. Jeez.
Let's see.
Stereophonics. Simply Red. Probably wasn't that one.
All right. Let's see. Is this it? Oh, I'm going to get a commercial. Hold on. So I will say about this. Since we changed subjects to a different song, since we talked about the best cover song of all time, and then how the artist himself actually thinks that this other one is the best version of one of his songs, I will say that this Positively Forestry is the best like diss track, like lyrically, like it is. It's so crushing, that. Like speaking of another like perfect turn of phrase, like the end of that song, he's like, "I wish for 1 minute I could walk inside your shoes," and you think he's coming around to being like, "Perhaps if we understand each other here," and then he says it, and then he says it again. I wish that for 1 minute I could walk inside your shoes, and you could walk in mine, so you could see what a drag it is to see. And it's just like, dude, it's like
for real.
Anyway, yeah, brutal.
That'd be a good question for the for future versions of this. Of like, what's the best diss song?
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Would have remember that. Okay, well, we went on a journey there. That was fun. I don't know. We'll do something with the magic of editing. Everybody listening to this will be like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It just didn't jump around at all. It just went straight.
Well, I think, no. So I was just wondering if I was like sitting here scrolling with. I do a podcast with my wife about Echo and the Bunnymen, right? And
sweet.
It's called Is There an Echo Here? In here, a podcast about Echo and the Bunnymen, and we do a lot of editing because we record all different times and then it gets put together. But
right.
But I know like sometimes it's like we'll be like, let me scroll to Wikipedia now, and it's like kind of like take that some of that has to go. But so I didn't know how long it was going to take me. Yeah. But we nailed it.
No worries.
The Johnny Rivers version. Yeah.
There we go. Perfect. That's Bob Dylan. Thanks. The cover song's better than the original. It's Johnny Rivers.
Yeah.
There we go.
But we all know that,
it's all
on the Watchtower is like, yeah.
Okay. Last two questions. The sort of big questions. So what is the song that means the most to you?
Right. And I said, Cello Song by Nick Drake. And, these questions are insane. So it's difficult to answer because it's like, there's more than one answer always. But this one is like, just takes me to a place in time where I was, falling in love with Courtney. And there was like and that song was on, and I walked into like her room or whatever at this place, when we were kind of living nearby. And it was just like it felt like it was like an oasis or something, or like I found like like something like peace on earth, basically, you know, and that's such a gorgeous,
Yeah.
beautiful song. Like, I mean, it's still just, I mean, it's like, actually, I threw that on the list of possible arrangements at some point, but like, but it's just like, yeah, I just think that it's just associating it with that feeling. I think I was having like a bad mushroom trip, and like I knocked her, and I knocked on her door, and I was like, "Hey," and I came in, and then that song was on or something, and I just like immediately was like, everything just settled, and it was like everything what became like peace, yeah. So yeah, that seems like possible. Yeah,
yeah. That's. I mean, that's great, and this song is. Yeah, this is like to me. This is. I don't know. This is maybe my favorite Nick Drake song. If I had to pick one,
yeah.
I love this song so much. Yeah, I I do like the idea though of being on mushrooms and then this song plus going over that like
Yeah, just entering like a room full of light or something, you know. Like,
yeah. All right. Well, the last question. In this moment in time, because I'm sure it changes. Maybe it doesn't change, but what is your favorite song, Shane?
Oh my God. It's the more cowbell song. Yeah. It's funny I said that. Don't fear the reapers. What I wrote down, I was like, I don't know, but God, that's a good song. You know?
Yeah, it is. It's a great song.
Yeah. All the songs I like have the same chord progression, and that's, you know, it's like
Really?
that's yeah, that's it, man. That
it's not so much a favorite song; it's a favorite chord progression.
Well, I kind of like realized that because I was starting to, I'm like, songs that are meaningful to me that like evoke some kind of feeling, and then I started to like realize, oh, these all have like kind of a similar chord progression. You know, it's like,
Yeah.
but yeah, I mean that song was just so, I don't know, it's just a beautiful song, and it's like you know, it was in Stephen King's The Stand. Christopher Walken did a great sketch about it. It's got like it's got a really cool riff, man. It's just like, you know, it's just like, you know, it's just like you're just, it's got a real nice it's not a nice shape to it, you know. The guitar solo, man, is out of sight on that song. That whole bridge breakdown where it gets all diminished chord, and then Buck Dharma is just like shredding, like, you know, like tremolo picking like harmonic minor scales. You know, it's like, I mean, these are not things that I would say made me fall in love with the song because I didn't know what the hell that was. You know, when I was just like, whoa, that's deep. But then, you know,
Right.
but like it's just that's a good one. I could probably pick other Blue Oyster Cult. I'm a big Blue Oyster Cult fan. I have to say, I was checking out their first album the other day again, but I think, you know, what happens is like you get hit by things in a formative time in your life, you know, and I think like a lot of the stuff we talked about sort of, you know, I think I see as kind of like coming out in my own music as being, you know, trying to like evoke a feeling, you know. And so when you're asking if I consider myself like a romantic person or whatever, you know, and it's like, I mean, there's like the romance in music, you know, which is like I'm much more lean in that direction than I do in atonality or you know, like, or like you know, like I mean, I have certainly played some harsh and aggressive sounds in my music, but over the years, but I feel like I tend to listen to and enjoy playing more things that are like evoke the mystery of it all.
Yeah.
And you know, and so you know, even and I don't think that there's any amount of intellectualization that is going to remove that, you know. So when I was like talking about you know, the theoretical elements of the music, I don't think that like what I tell my students or anyone who wants to make the case that knowledge is going to hinder my creativity or whatever, is that you open a door to 10 more doors, like there's no, like it's just deepening the mystery. It's deepening it so like, yeah, these elements are there, but like, how is it that they are like, we're, came together in some kind of coherence to like create that feeling is not, is really kind of what, what I'm drawn to, you know what I mean? So even as academic as one can get, it's not really like I mean, you could go fully into that realm, but that's not what interests me. But I don't shy away from trying to understand it in those terms, but then just letting that go and like feeling deeply and crying and and all the stuff that we talked about.
Well, that to me is the perfect place to end. So Repetoire, May 10th on, I never know how to pronounce Bill's label. So,
nice. I've been working on it.
Podcast, this, like I'm so used to reading things, and then you get on you recording a podcast, like shit, I got to say this out loud. It's
yeah. Well, my band is Luchatistas is notoriously like no one can say that, but and I think it's funny because Bill has joked about that, and I realize that it is funny that I'm like, is it but I think it's Palilalia.
Palilalia. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
I was going to try and pronounce your band name. Like in my intro, I was like, "Yep, I'm not going."
yeah.
But yeah, Repertoire, May 10th. God, I don't even remember what the fuck you just said. Palilalia. Anyway,
Palilalia.
There you go. Perfect. Everybody's try it. And yeah, thanks for doing this.
Yeah, thank you, Brad. That was fun.
Once again, thank you to Shane Parish for taking the time and just going for it. Man, God, we had a blast. Repetoire is out now. If you haven't heard it, you need to. Can't recommend it enough. As ever, you can click on the link in the show notes to listen to all of Shane's picks. There's links to the album and his website and all that stuff too. And just reiterating what I said at the top of the show, patreon.com/Foxy Digitalis. We also have a Ko-Fi thing if you want to just throw a few bucks. Jewel Garden, all those things. Every dollar goes towards supporting all of this. And if that's not for you, or you want to take that money and put it towards buying Shane's record, that's awesome. But if you can at least leave a rating and or a review, amazing. That would be killer. So, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for being here. Until next time, keep listening to whatever the hell you want.